Happy Thursday, readers. Today in Reading Workshop, you're going to need your reading notebook, glue stick, highlighter, and pencil, your book packet, and your green ELA resource folder that's located in your anchor binder. Remember, don't take out your folder, just go ahead and open it up. On the left side, we're going to go ahead and take out the 3 remaining pages, the 2 that are on character charts, and then the character comparison. Then close your green folder. Remember that tomorrow, Friday, will be another supply pickup for the resources we need starting on Monday. Then place your anchor binder back in your basket so you have it for later. Open up your reading notebook so we can turn back to yesterday's work. Yesterday's work, we were working on building a character analysis and being able to use one of our words for a character trait and being able to pull evidence directly from the text. So we're grounding the evidence back within our text evidence to support how this particular trait fits the character that we were looking at. So we did the character of Sistine together. For your classwork, you were to read the story of the Thunder Rose, and you were asked to then build a character chart about the main character, Thunder Rose. You were told to look back in your notebook on page 36 to get some ideas of possible character traits to find the one that you felt the best fit this character. You were told to write it in the circle, define that trait, so a definition, and then find evidence within the text. That's why you have your own mentor text that describes dialogue or actions or the feelings or thoughts that the character had to support the character trait that you chose. So we are continuing on with our character unit. So today we're going to be inserting our next lesson. So our next lesson is going to be on page 42. Then go ahead and turn back to the table of contents. Remember, at any time, please pause your video to get yourself caught up, and that way you're keeping yourself organized. So 42, we're going to put character chart. And this is the first day of October, so it's 10-1-20. Then we're going to turn back to the page that we just labeled. So we have 3 pages that we're going to be inserting today. So the first one that says My Character Chart will be on the first page of today's lesson. So use your glue stick, make your frame, and then the X. Turn it over, and remember, smooth from the bottom of the page up. And if you've covered up your page number, go ahead and make sure that you have that uncovered. Turn the page, you're going to place your second character chart. Then from the bottom, smooth up. And then the last page, the character comparison. If you need to use a pair of scissors just to trim it to fit a little bit neater, you don't have to have the date and name section at the top, so I'm trimming mine off. So you might want to do the same. Turn it over. And then make your X. All right. So we're going to go ahead and jump back to the first page of today's lesson, and I'm going to use my highlighter to highlight the title, so what we're focusing on creating today. So we've been talking about our characters and how our characters change and how they're complicated characters because they might act differently in different situations and around different people, and how throughout the book the author is giving us information that is revealing different aspects of our character that we might not be aware of initially when the story first starts. So today we're building a character chart, and the directions state, draw a picture and record important information about each character as you read the text. So we are finishing up our story today. After you're done, you're going to be listening to chapters 26 through 30, and that brings us to the conclusion of our story. We are not finished using the information from our story, but we're done listening to the story today. So the first thing you're going to need to do is to draw a picture of the characters as we list them. This should be detailed pictures that include color and information that Kate DiCamillo has provided within the words in the text. So we're going to start by writing the names of the characters down first, and then we'll come back and we're going to write down some important facts. So the first main character is Rob, and his last name's Horton. We're going to then move down to the second main character, which is Sistine Bailey. Then we often hear about Rob's dad, so we're going to write his name is Robert Horton. And in parentheses, we're going to just say Rob's dad. That way we remember, even though it's the same type of name, it's the dad. The last one on this page is going to be of Willie Mae. Then you're going to turn your page. We're going to then write the next character is Beauchamp. And then of course we have what Beauchamp is keeping in the cage, which is the tiger. Then we have the three Munger boys, so we're going to kind of put them together since they're always together and kind of described as the same type of person. So Norton and Billy, three Munger. And then we have a character that is often talked about and is the reason why Rob acts the way he does for the majority of the story, and that is Caroline Horton, which is Rob's mom. There are other characters that we could have also included, such as Mrs. Bailey, Sistine's mom, the principal, and how he acted with Rob in the beginning, which is Mr. Felmer. Those are additional characters that if we had enough room and time, we would have included them as well. So don't forget that there are other characters that are important to the story. We're just focusing on the ones that we've listed today. So we're going to jump back and we're going to start looking at our characters, listing some of the important facts or descriptions about these characters. You on your own are going to then draw your pictures. Remember, it's not just drawing, you're using details and colors to help give that more insight into who they are. So when you're drawing the tiger, think back to Kate DiCamillo's description when Rob first sees the tiger as being this bright colors that look almost like the sun. So make sure that you're incorporating things that are being given to you within the text. So we're going to start by looking at Rob. He's 12 years old. He lives at the Kentucky Star Motel with his dad. We can also say that his mother died. He's quiet. And that says an A. And often bullied at school. Is friends with Sistine. So this is just a brief description on some background to help us better understand and remember who Rob is. So he is a 12-year-old boy. He lives in the Kentucky Star Motel with his dad, and they moved there after his mother had died. He is quiet and often is bullied at school. And then we then start learning throughout the story that he and Sistine become friends. So the next one is Sistine Bailey, which is also referenced as the nickname Sissy. So we're going to say she moved to Lister with her mom She's a classmate of Rob's. Her parents got divorced. She is open emotionally and passionate. We're using the character trait that we have been focusing on. So she's passionate about a lot of things. When we say she's open emotionally, that means that she's not afraid to show her feelings and how she wants to react to certain situations. We know she gets in fights in school, and she has no problem kind of sticking up to the bullies who are trying to treat her the way that they treat Rob. Moving down to Rob's dad, we're going to say he works at the Kentucky Star Motel. Is underpaid by Beauchamp. He doesn't like to show emotion. He helps Rob with his medicine. So although he is not an emotional type of person, we know that he also does care about Rob, and he wants to help him by putting lotion on or his medicine all over his legs to try to see if that will help him get a little bit better. The next character is Willie Mae. We're going to say she's the housekeeper of the Kentucky Star. She is not educated, so we're going to say uneducated, comma, she gives advice to Rob and Sistine Sistine calls her a prophetess. And then we're going to squeeze in she and Rob have a connection because they both have lost somebody they loved. So because they have both lost loved ones. Period. So we're just giving some background knowledge into who our characters are and what we've discovered throughout this story so far. So make sure that you're pausing your video to get everything written down. When you submit your pictures, I should see the full description of each of these characters, including the ones we're going to fill out in a moment, and your picture that is detailed and colored. Now moving to the next side, we're going to be focusing on some of the other characters that are introduced throughout the story. So the first one is Beauchamp. We're going to say he's the owner of the Kentucky Star Motel. He's also the owner of the woods that surround it. So we're going to put comma, the woods, or the woods behind it. And the tiger. We're going to say that he is bossy, and sometimes you can interpret his demeanor or the way he acts as kind of being aggressive. The next character, which is the sole focus of kind of the changing and the development of who Rob is, the tiger. So we're going to say the tiger is described as beautiful, a poor animal, trapped in a small cage in the woods, we're going to also say that he just paces around waiting for food and freedom. And then moving on to our two bullies of the story, Norton and Billy Threemonger, we're going to say that they're described as being two, what they call redneck. And that's just a term that describes who the author is kind of giving to them. So two boys, so two brothers who bully Rob in school and on the bus. So they're not very friendly. And the last one, the one who kind of causes Rob to be the way they are, or to have those strong emotions that he's trying to keep kind of tucked down deep tight in his legs, that we said are kind of buried in a suitcase that he's trying to keep contained and closed, is his mother, Caroline Horton. So we said that's Rob's mother, and we're going to describe her as she died of cancer before Rob and his dad moved to Lister. She loved Rob very much, and supported him when he was upset. So she's being described in the story as a mama who loves her son, who when he gets upset or is emotional about something, she oftentimes would put her hand on his neck and kind of just like let him feel all of the emotions that he's feeling and not make him feel like he was doing something wrong or that it was bad to feel the way he did. So he then in turn tried to provide that same kind of caring attitude when Sistine was showing that she was upset about something. So placing his hand on her back to show that he was there and supporting. So she's an important character to help us remember there's a different side to Rob, that he's not always this quiet, shy boy, but he's this way because of the loss of his mother who showed that emotion. So far you have filled out the character chart for Rob, Sistine, Mr. Horton, Willie Mae, Beauchamp, the Tiger, the Threemonger brothers, and Caroline, who is Rob's mother. Don't forget, you're asked to draw and color in your pictures to the best of your ability of using the author's words and how she described them. The last activity for our lesson in our notebook today is a character comparison. This section you're going to be doing on your own. So we're going to highlight the title of today's lesson, or this particular page in the lesson, and it's asking you to choose two of the characters that we just took the time to describe. So choose two characters from The Tiger Rising, and then you're going to be asked to compare them. So make sure that you're marking your text like Mrs. Ling is. So comparing them to each other. I want you to focus on the similarities, so ways that they're the same. And then what are their differences? So what are some of the things that are opposite in their personalities or their character traits? You're going to write the name of your first character underneath character 1, your second name of your character under character 2. Then you're going to finish creating their view of what they look like from the head up. So finish drawing their head. So after you have completed drawing the faces for the two characters that you have chosen, then you're going to move down and make sure you're marking your text as Mrs. Ling has marked on hers. So you're going to be focusing on this next section, the similarities or the things that are the same between the two characters that you have written at the top. You are going to write in complete sentences, which you should have at least 3 complete sentences showing what similarities that they both have in common. Then moving down to the next section, I want you to highlight the word differences. So this is where you're going to describe things that are not the same. You're going to once again write in complete sentences. This time I want you to write 2 complete sentences for each of your characters. So 2 sentences describing character 1, and then 2 sentences describing the difference in character 2. So maybe how they react to certain situations, or maybe their beliefs, or how they interact and have relationships with one another. So this is your section that you're going to talk about the difference. So once again, today for your notebook part of your lesson, you're going to make sure that you have pictures drawn and colored for each of your 8 characters. You have copied down the information that Mrs. Ling has provided about those 8 characters. Your portion of the lesson is going to then take 2 of those characters we just described, write them in your chart, finish drawing the description by creating some sort of picture of their heads, writing 3 sentences about things that they have in common, writing 2 sentences for each character about the things that they have that are different. Today you are finishing up the Tiger Rising story, listening to chapters 26 through 30 once you're done. And then you're going to get started on your Tiger Rising packet. Remember, you have 2 days to work on the packet. Do not try to finish it all up in one day. Then you're giving yourself more work than what I'm assigning. You're just beginning your work today and finishing it up tomorrow. Tomorrow, you're going to also have your chapters 21 through 30 test using your completed packet. So Friday, you're completing your packet in the morning. The test is that afternoon, and you can use your packet to help you know what the questions are asking. So go ahead and open up your book packet so we can make sure that we're getting to the right pages. So you're going to turn to the pages and make sure you're watching and listening carefully to the page that says Dictionary Detective. The previous page was page 20, and we're numbering our pages. So when I refer to a page number, you should know that it's the page that we're writing. So the first page for the new section of chapters, I'm writing a page 21 at the top. This is focusing on the chapters you're listening today, 26 through 30. Turn the page. On the vocabulary study, you're writing a 22, so this is page 22. The next page, Understanding the Story, is page 23. And then the final page for this section that we're working on today and tomorrow is page 24. So when you flip back to the beginning of this section, you should be looking at the picture of my sticky note. It's for Thursday's work. It says to listen to chapters 26 through 30. Start working on your book packet. The key word there is start. It does not say to finish. That is pages 21 through 24. So those are the pages that we're recording that are focusing on chapters 26 through 30. And this is due Friday. So this is due tomorrow. So remember, today for your lesson, do not submit pages from your book packet because that's not what I'm asking for. What you're submitting to me today are your 3 pictures of your lesson. So the first picture should be a clear picture of the first page of my character chart completed with pictures. Second picture is your second page, including pictures. And then your third picture is of your completed character comparison. Don't submit just your highlighted and the notes Mrs. Ling has given. You have to do the work to get the credit. So remember, 3 pictures submitted today. You're starting your work on your book packet after you've listened to the new section of our story.